Hello, my name's Jude Scott, and this morning we're going to be painting during Thursday class, and we've got a lovely image of Cradle Mountain in Tasmania, an iconic and very beautiful place. This particular image has Cradle Mountain in the background. It's got the lake, it's got hills, and it's got a lovely old hiker's cottage and a path wandering through this lovely thick bushland. So please paint along, and I'm sure you'll have fun and you'll enjoy it. Thanks for watching. And then where it's really dark here, make sure that you just shade it in, because it's quite easy when you sort of get excited and think, oh, this is just great, I'm loving painting this, it's really working well, and you forget important stuff. So there's a dark shrub, but in front of that there's some quite light shrubs, and it will just help you in the dark, block in your lights and darks. So I'll let you all go and do that. So do it in a landscape format. Don't make the mistake of doing it in a portraiture one. And do look, I think if you're going to do Tasmania, this is really important. You don't have to do all those little crags, but just so long as you get that shape, because anyone who lives or has been to Cradle Mountain will go, oh, Cradle Mountain. Yes, yes. And this little hut will be fantastic fun to paint. So I'll give you half an hour to draw that up.
When we come to doing the brushes,
Right to everyone. Bring a chair if you want to sit down. That's fine. There's a chair here. There's a stool. Yep.
look at all
Have
the
a seat.
brushes you've got.
Oh, I'm doing oil painting.
Gloria, look at this.
You've got to have those. Can't have too many brushes.
No.
Okay. So
As in Chinese white or
I use
white?
titanium.
Titanium white. I looked at the hills and thought purple.
Make them too colourful. It's going to detract from the overall painting.
Yeah, they're quite fine. So they're almost the same colour as the cloud.
Yes. And we're going to put some more depth into that.
Right.
So I'll just make that a little bit more of a mixture. So if it goes a bit purpley, put in some yellow ochre and then a little bit more cobalt. Just want a nice soft grey sort of colour and a bit of white. Too much white. Then we can just put some of that there. Longer and sort of warmer, just a little bit. So not much different.
But there's more of the yellow.
Yeah, just put a little bit more of the yellow ochre into that. And then we've got this hill here, which is even warmer. As you can see, it looks like lots of, I don't know, those little weedy things that grow in Tasmania.
You're using your brush in all different directions.
Yes, to get the best out of it. Yeah, just want a little bit of just sort of like a creamy sort of a green down there. Okay, and then this hill here, we'll make that a little bit greener, I think. So into that mix, where I've got a little bit of sort of bluer something happening, I'm going to put a little bit of blue. So I want a kind of stronger sort of a grey-green colour. Oh, I do hope I've put my horizon there on the lake less than halfway. I meant to check that.
It was about halfway.
A nice green that doesn't look too bright for Tasmania.
It brings it forward, doesn't it?
Yes, so you've got to get this hill to come forward in front of that hill. So the only way we can do that is with colour.
Right.
And then we can put some, maybe just some little spotty bits in there because the vegetation is not all flat. Some little marks. And that will also need just a bit more dark in there.
That's dry paper.
Yes, yeah, it was dry when I started, yep.
So you let that, you painted the hill bit and then you let that dry a bit while you did the next bit.
Yeah.
And you came back to it.
Yep, and then I'm down to this area here. So I'm going to just, there's no white in any of that, so get rid of everything except what's very pale. So this is just your underwash, okay? So we want this, that all blend in together.
And you're adding Queen Gold to that.
Yeah, and I've, yeah,
So it's this colour here.
Yep.
You wouldn't use a bit of burnt sienna through that?
You could, yeah. And you could also use some burnt sienna in the foreground when you come. You don't want that to come too far forward, so you could have some burnt sienna down here. Out of dryness, you can just sort of sculpt a few areas of darks into that, because if you get a few little cauliflowers, it won't matter. And this section here is really quite dark.
And that's sort of half dry.
Yes,
so it will,
it's damp, so it will all blend in together with no hard edges. And I'm not going to put the rocks in. What I will do is put some warmth in. Maybe you can get the idea that it's water because it'll be a horizontal surface. And here will be, should put a little bit of dark in there.
And the dark is?
I've just put more, I've only used 3 colours, ultramarine, Queen Gold and raw sienna. Mix them all up. So it's either got a bit more blue in or a bit more yellow. And then these bushes here, just make sure your brush is kind of dry. And you can even get these brushes and kind of do this to them if you want. They're very good for doing vegetation.
What sort of hair are they?
It's a mixture of goat hair and I've got no idea what's in the middle. They say weasel, but that could be it could be cow hair.
Be rats.
No, rat hair's in the rigger brushes. That's it. I'll leave it at that, and you can go and do the do the vegetation. We'll come back and do the building. Okay.
So do you go back to Cradle Mountain itself? Can I turn?
Hills, crevices rather. So we're going to have some crevices in those mountains. So
And that's wet on dry.
it's wet on dry. Yeah. So don't put much paint on your brush. And get your flat brush or something else and just sort of to mess it up a little bit. You don't want them looking perfect, they look horrible. And a little bit of ultramarine. So this is more towards a bit of a purpley blue. We're going to come in and put some vegetation there. And my tree was over here, so I'll just do the trunks in that and the underneath of the tree where it's in shadow will be like that. And then to make the tree stand out, if I put dark vegetation around it, it will look like the tree.
Needs a paintbrush.
And then further in the foreground, under the shrubs, I've run out of paint again. So I'm mixing up a purple with just a bit of yellow ochre in it, so it's a warmish purpley brown. So I'll go back here again to the far distant background. So here we've got some depth in those shrubs there.
So that's a darker
Yes.
colour again.
Yep. So wherever you see dark in your image, put your darks in. Here it's quite what am I trying to say? It's quite quite dark and quite spiky. Where's the brush? Try this one. Okay, so you can either get a dry brush and take some little grasses out. I don't like that look. I don't think that looks any good. So the other way is to get your rigger brush and you can come back the opposite way. So if you've got these grasses with spiky ends, do it in reverse. Or do a mixture of both sorts of marks if you really feel that, you know, your painting definitely has to have those areas of spiky grasses. So if you make that damp enough, you should be able to
Sort of
that, and you want to put some more dark, just do wet in wet down the front, and that will give you really soft looks as well. The other thing you can do is mix up, actually I'll go the other way, I'll put dark. No, I won't go that way. Some yellow ochre and some burnt sienna, and if you drop that in, it should come back and look like grasses.
Rawsy.
raw sienna or yellow ochre and burnt sienna. And you can
Right.
play around with that and you'll get some grassy looks as well. So because I put that dark, it looks like there's a branch or something there, and I like those branches, so I'm just going to sort of take out a branch there, maybe something there. So I think I don't want this to be sort of, you know, highly visible where I've added it. I just sort of want it to blend in, and I like the lights that I've left as well. I don't want to cover all those up. So you can do a little bit of that and hold it right at the end.
So it's sort of out of control.
Yeah, just
Let your hair down.
yeah, random sort of marks.
Right.
Let it go, let it go.
And also you can do that with, let's try some white. Your white has to be pretty thick and not watery, otherwise it just won't go over the dark. And don't try and draw nice straight lines. They will look absolutely horrible because it just won't work. It'll just jar the senses. Just, you know, put some stuff in.
And I have to get a coffee.
Okay, so just come along, little lines. Don't draw nice, neat, straight lines. We want it to look, you know, it's not an architectural feature. This one here is a bit darker because it's got a bit of shadow there. So we'll make that darker. Flatten the tip of your brush out and just come down like this and you'll have your tiles. That's all you need to do. Just bear in mind that this is at an angle and that's at an angle. So don't come along and go straight, because otherwise you get up here and go, oh, there'll be an issue, a building issue. And then you can just get those shadows to sort of come down a little bit. I'm going to mop that off slightly because that's actually the light side of the building. So just mop that a little bit. I do want some dark streaks in that, so because that's damp, it's too dark and too cold. Will be a bit, it's got a roof line there, okay. And one there. And probably a bit of something there. Out from that cottage, you've got, it's not really a shadow, but it's just a bit darker. I think they've got white shell or something on the path. So just take some streaks out. Same with here. And because apparently it's a canoe hut where they keep the canoes, so if we have this, if you tilt your brush strokes, it'll go down to the water and it'll put a bit of a curve on the path. Don't have all those shadowy marks hard. Have some hard but some soft, and they'll be darker as they come towards us. So let's do some gravelly bits. It's the same colour as the sky, so let's just put something a little bit like a bluey grey, very, very pale, coming over here. So the flat of your brush, to do and put some, I'll mix up a bit of green. So I think that that's done.
That looks beautiful.
A bit of
Fantastic.
so